Hey everybody, Mike from the Focus Garage here coming at you with a quick video. I want to give a huge shout out to idparts.com for helping sponsor this video and making this little repair possible. So what I'm going to be covering an overview for in this video is how to replace your fuel filter in your TDI Volkswagen. This is going to be the same for pretty much any modern TDI Volkswagen, but this engine in particular is the EA2888 engine, which is going to be an all 2015 and up VWs with a 2.0 turbo diesel. They do recommend you change your fuel filter every 20,000 miles. This is my first time changing this filter on this vehicle. So, I just wanted to go ahead and take care of the 40,000 mile service on this vehicle. The 40,000 mile service entails your fuel filter, a DSG service, engine oil, and then all of your other filters. So your engine air filter, which we've got a video on, and then your cabin air filter inside the vehicle. So we've covered all that. This isn't going to be a full demonstration per se. How is it just going to be a overview of what to do to change a filter? Please see ID Parts for anything related to turbo diesel engines. They want to make sure that your car is on the road for a long time, and they're making this video possible. So let's get started. With this particular vehicle, the fuel filter is going to be on the passenger or right-hand side of the vehicle. So I'm standing at the front of the vehicle looking down at the engine. That is your fuel filter right there. So you've got just a couple of T20 screws on top of here. The easiest way to take these out is going to be with a small socket and an extension. Reason I say an extension is because there's one tough to reach one in the back here where it's a little bit tricky, and these are not magnetic, so you do have to kind of fish your fingers down in there to take that out. Before you take them out, go ahead and mark them. You'll see here how I marked, just with a black Sharpie, the torque spec of each of these. It says right here on the lid, I think something Newton meters, you can kind of see it right there. But mine obviously wasn't leaking before, so I marked where they are now. And then when you take the screws out, obviously make sure you put them back in the same orientation, so that way your markings actually mean something to you. So with a T20 and a little bit of extension, go ahead and pull those out. When you pull those out, make sure that you line the area around this filter with some sort of shop towels, rags, microfibers, anything like that, because when you pull this lid off, you are going to run the risk of some fuel dripping down here. And you can tell when the dealer did this before I bought the vehicle, they made a mess, and you can see quite a lot of kind of dirt and debris down there, and that's just oily diesel fuel sitting down there. So in order to prevent that from happening again, I went ahead and I put some rags around it. So pull each one out. You can do it kind of as in a star pattern, as if you were putting on or taking off a tire. So kind of alternate back and forth here and make sure that you take them off that way. Easiest way to pull this bad boy off once you take those out is just kind of, use your hands. I'm obviously holding the camera with one hand here, but use two hands, put one under here and one under here, and kind of wiggle this up. Pull it up and out of the way. With a bungee cord, you can kind of clip it here and then clip it back to this AC line back here, or even the cowl up here to pull this piece up and hold it out of the way. You're going to see the filter in here, and I've got a filter for demonstration purposes for you that I'm going to show you here. Whoa. Could have paused it for you guys, but nah, that'd be too easy. So you're going to pull the old filter straight out like that. It's going to be sitting in there, and you're going to literally pull it straight out. Let it hover over here to let the fuel drippings fall off of it, so that way you're not worrying about fuel getting all over your engine there. Once you pull it out, you're going to go ahead and prop it in the same way. Do not push it. Do not force it. You do not want fuel flying all over the place. Pretty much just drop the filter in here and let it sit and settle down. Once it settles, there's a large area of debate with these, whether or not to top this off and just start the car and go, or using something like VAGCOM or OBD11, actually run the fuel pump that way. What I did in my particular case is, first, you've obviously got to put your lid back on. So once the filter's in here, you either top it off or you don't. It's up to you. I'm not going to get too into it. Put the screws back on. Like I said, something that's very important here is putting them on in a crisscross pattern, like a star pattern when you're putting on a wheel, because these are very light torque spec, and you don't want to have this lid sit improperly. So, start at the top if you want, and then just kind of crisscross it. Tighten them all down a little bit, and then finish them to their final torque spec that you marked in the beginning with your marker. Once that's done, if you topped it off and you don't have any kind of communication service with the vehicle, make sure the fuel's topped off in here so there's as little air as possible. Start it and go for a drive. I have heard people saying that the first start after doing this, if you don't purge it of air, it may be a little rough. Car may idle weird or crank for a little bit longer than usual. That's something to watch out for. What I had the luxury of doing is, since I've covered this in other videos, I've got OBD11 for my particular car. So what I was able to do is you can actually go into your engine section and there's a testing feature. In that, you can type in fuel actuation. And with that, you can actually run the pump. It'll purge it in 5 second, and then it'll go off. And then, on and off again. I read online, let it do it for 1 to 2 minutes. And then you'll actually hear it. As it's doing that, you can come out of the car, come right here and listen, and you can hear the air escaping from the lines. I always like to make sure everything's done properly. So once I let it actuate for about 2 minutes, I turned it off, started the vehicle as normal, and then drove around the block. I did, just a little bit, make sure that the car was, idling fine, driving fine, accelerating fine, and that everything was good there. So it's pretty simple. You could really do this in 10 to 20 minutes. There's just, 2, 4, 5 screws, pull them out, pull the filter out, pop your new filter in, and you're good to go. Like I said, the biggest point of argument or discussion with these is, some people say you can just fill this up with fuel and you're good to run. Other people say that's going to introduce air lines into it and you're going to ruin your high pressure fuel pump. I kind of did both sides to be completely safe. I filled this up as much as I possibly could with some fresh diesel, and then I went ahead and I ran the actuation service just to make sure that everything is purged and good to go. Nice thing about this is it's super accessible. You don't got to go under the car, nothing like that, and it's only every 20,000 miles. So this is on here. ID Parts, went and set out an OEM filter, so you don't have to worry about anything. It's in there, it's good, and this car is set for another 20,000 miles until its next filter. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. A little bit simpler of a video here. Sorry I couldn't actually film the whole process. I just wanted to get it in there very quickly. I didn't feel like setting everything up. But if you guys do have any questions, definitely shoot me a message, shoot me a comment, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Let us know, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. This is Mike. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and click those bells for notification, and I will catch you guys in the next video.